Hey everybody, welcome to our call that I'm so excited to talk to you about vision casting. So I'm Sadie Hirschway. I'm dreaming with Dreaming of Diamond, and if you are looking for this recording after we're done, you can find it on our YouTube channel. But I've done basically we have a 6 week series kind of going on. We're at week 5 right now. We went through the holidays, and so it's kind of been a little bit elongated. So if you're looking for the other 4 weeks that we've already had, please find it on our YouTube channel. But tonight we're going to talk about my very favorite subject, which is so important, and that is vision casting. The purpose of this, obviously, when teaching this, vision is not something that you say at people, right? This is not something that it's basically something you co-create through listening. It's something that is basically takes participation. And so if you're worried about not being good at casting vision for other people, it is a skill that once you can leverage, and once you are kind of in that mode of doing it, it's going to become a natural next step, and it's going to become something that is the most important. It makes you the most dangerous, quote unquote, as a leader. Okay, so vision without listening, though, is just noise. And I feel like listening is the key to all connection and all the way that we're going to build in a really important strategic way. It is necessary. It is a skill that if you feel like, oh, I'm a bad listener, I would change that very quickly, and I would become one with learning more about that. Okay. And I'm really personally leaning into mentoring listening in 2026 because it's so important. So, vision with listening, it becomes magnetic, and it becomes something that people, will feel from you, and they will become electric because of those conversations. So basically, what is vision? It's definitely not a fluffy topic. It's very serious, and it's something that I'm going to just um, hazard to guess. You would not be listening to this if you had not had a vision created for you. And sometimes that vision is created by your own mind. So again, this doesn't only rely on your leader, but it is something as a leader that when you can leverage these skills is really, really important. So it's not dreaming, but it is direction for sure. It's definitely identity. So it's a a leader's I loved this. A leader's job is not to drag people forward, it's to help them see what is possible. And that's literally what vision casting is. It is the ability to show someone ahead what you see in them, but also what they can see inside of themselves. So obviously you're already casting vision. You've casted vision for yourself. You've done this for someone else. If you've ever, shared with someone like, hey, you could get those products paid for. Hey, what would happen if you didn't have that joint pain? Hey, what would happen if that's all vision casting? So we can go from the lowest, right? Low is probably the wrong term, but we can go from that very beginning stages of what would your life look like if you were not feeling a certain way, all the way up to how does it look for you to empower the masses and create a ripple of change in your organizations and in your community. So, you're already doing it whether you realize it or not. You're casting vision when you talk about your own life. That's why it's important to talk about what your story is. Sometimes we shy away from our own story. We think, oh, I don't want this person to think, right? Fill in the blank. That's where all of our hopes and dreams go to die, is when we send things through that filter. So I want to invite you to stop doing that in 2026. It's January, and you can spend the next 11 and a half months not pandering to that what if someone doesn't like what I have to say vibe, right? We're done with that. Okay. So a way also that you can cast vision is you're talking about your schedule. I just saw Megan Malakovic talking about this. She and I went to our first jewel, well, her too, our first jewel school together. And she was curling her hair for a date night, and she was talking about what working her business looked like. It was absolutely genius. I thought, I'm going to steal this from you. I love you enough to steal this. Imitation is, right, the best form of flattery. And I loved it. Talking about boundaries that you have. Hey, here's what I don't do. Here's what I don't allow. And guys, think about it too. Like, you are a plexus leader, but you're a life leader. Not everything is going to be necessarily applicable, or not everything has to be like, is this good for my plexus business? Because you are your own brand. Okay. You are your own brand. You talk about belief in the business, that's vision casting, right? So if you don't cast vision intentionally, people create their own vision. People create a lesser vision. I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes when you get on the phone with somebody that believes in you, or breathes life into you, you immediately feel like you're going to scale a mountain and you're going to wave a flag at the top. But prior to that conversation, you were like, oh, I'll just add 3 this month and everything mediocre is fine. Have you been there? Yeah, I know. It's okay. Me too. It's okay. So where there is no vision, people drift. So I want to let you know that this is really important as you become a leader of leaders. When your team knows where they're going, when your team knows, and a great way to borrow like what is already happening in our company right now is me plus three. If you bang the me plus three drum, and this is where we're all going, and this is what we're all doing, and this is the vision that we're all a part of, it's very, very easy. You're adopting something that's coming from the top up, or top down, excuse me, and it's very, very easy to just kind of continue that, continue that motion, continue that vision. So here's the deal. I feel like listening is the most important thing literally ever. I am a weirdo about it. I love it. I am going to be creating resources about it. Like, I love the art of listening. The art of listening is very, very important. And when you listen and drop into curiosity, you have power. And obviously, when we're servant leaders, we don't abuse the power, but we have the power to allow other people to see themselves in a way that they would not normally see, because we're listening to things that they're saying, and even sometimes that they're not saying. So this is where you slow down. And so there are some personalities out there that think that listening, it's a time waster. It's not effective as a use of time. But I can tell you that it is the place that it's the piece that most leaders miss. And when you master the art of listening, you will literally become the most just powerful version of yourself. But the reason is because you will unlock the most powerful version of other people. Okay. It is about, in this business for sure, it is about, and guys, think about this with your kids too, right? Think about this with other people in your life. When you can drop into curiosity and listen, you can really show up in a way that is special and different, and without agenda. I think that people feel if you've got an agenda, and what we want is we want you to, you're not imposing your dream on others, you're listening to what matters to them, and you're keeping them on track. Hey, I heard that this is so important to you, and what I've seen so far is X, Y, and Z. And I just want to double check that nothing's changed, because what my fear is that you're going to get to the end of the month telling yourself you're bad at this because you're not staying in alignment with what was important to you. Right? And you wouldn't know what was important to them had you, right, been the person interjecting what they need their goal to be. So we're not doing that. Listening builds trust. It reveals pain, you guys, when you can ask these questions and you don't listen. Here's the deal. You wouldn't be in the position that you're in if you weren't good at what you do. So let's set down the need to prove that. We don't have to prove that. You're good, baby, right? You're earning trips, you're doing things, you're getting bonuses, you're sponsoring people. You don't have to show up in a convincing energy about your worth. it becomes how you're going to unlock someone else, right? So when you can listen, you reveal that pain, that desire, that fear, and that readiness in the person. You can basically understand what is stopping someone when done appropriately. So listening, hello, is how you earn the right to cast vision. You cannot appropriately cast vision with somebody if you don't know where they want to go, right? Because then you're just imparting your own vision on them. And that's not what we're doing. So if you don't listen first, your vision casting can sound salesy. Here's where we're going. This is what's important. Don't you think this is great? Isn't this what you want? Oh my gosh, don't you want to be a diamond? Some people don't. Some people don't. And it is okay for someone to let their diamond be $1,000 a month. And that's enough. Because whatever is important to them, that's what becomes important to you when you are working in tandem with them. Okay. When you don't listen, that vision becomes disconnected and it feels self-serving and you feel out of alignment and you feel like certain subjects are tough. But when you do listen, you're supporting, it's expanding, and it's safe. And it gives you an anchor point to go back when you watch this person self-sabotage as well, right? Like we said from the beginning, this is a mechanism that is going to give you the most powerful space in your relationship with other people. Okay, so listening is a leadership skill. It is not a personality trait. It can be developed, refined, it can change things. I'm going to go so far as to say, if you are not getting what you want out of your Plexus business right now, let's get better at listening. Let's get better at vision casting. Let's get better at laying out, talking about what you do, letting people see what you do, opening a space for them to speak about what's important to them. Some people think they're good listeners because they're quiet, guys. And I do think you have to shut your mouth and open your ears to be a good listener. You do. You cannot listen if you're like imparting all this information into somebody. But leadership listening basically means we're asking those questions, we're not interrupting. We're not jumping to solutions, we're listening, we're holding space. This is a totally different call, but if I want you to learn how to hold space. If you feel like you're not connecting with people, I want you to lean into the skill of holding space, not projecting your story. This is important to me, so it's important to you, right? We're not doing that. We're letting silence do some of the work. We're not having to fill the space all the time. And if you're somebody that can feel uncomfortable, guys, we've been there. I've been there in times in my life where the silence feels uncomfortable, especially maybe if you're kind of with a new friend. I want you to just understand that sometimes that silence allows someone else to fill the space. And if we are motivating, if we are vision casting, we need them to be the loudest person in the conversation. Okay? Especially and by listening, you earn the right to jump into the weeds with them and get a little hardcore with them, right? I can be a certain way with people that love me because we've got the trust that they know that I'm only this way with them because they know that I'm scaling them. I want them to grow. I'm not self-serving. I'm holding a space for them and I'm holding them up to the standard that they might be abandoning, and you can do that too. So here are some great leadership questions that I know we're recording this, so you can go back and listen if you're writing this down, if you've got notes. A great way, especially if somebody comes to you and they're frustrated, what do you want more of right now that you're not getting? Don't talk. Don't give examples. What do you want more of right now that you're not getting? Okay. What feels heaviest about your goal right now? Right? This is a good 10th, 11th, 12th of the month conversation to have, because here's what happens at the beginning. We're on the high, right? End of the month, it was crazy. Ah, God, it's First of the month, I'm unstoppable. I'm going to add 1,500 bajillion points. It's amazing. The 10th is where it gets real. Someone, you're posting, someone's not, giving you that external validation. Maybe you thought a certain person was going to participate in a way that they doesn't look like they're going to, it becomes self-oriented. This is normal. Okay. This is normal. But what you have to do is you have to drop. That's when your questions become the most important thing. Hey, what's feeling heavy right now, friend? I hear you're frustrated. Tell me more about it. Don't talk. When you ask these things, you just shut your mouth. Okay. Next, if nothing had to change tomorrow, what would you still want to be different? Okay. And more of it, I think that this question, and this is something that I want you to take in kind of the beginning. So when you start somebody in a business journey, you're like, it's dating a little bit, right? We're learning each other. We're kind of understanding where we're going. I loved this question for that is what would more freedom look like for you, right? And this comes down to understanding why they're sharing in the first place, but you're not going to ascertain that information without shutting your mouth and opening your ears, asking questions, dropping into curiosity. I actually have a great document that has really, really good questions. It's I don't know what it's called. It's leaders ask something questions or whatever. It's really good. Message me later and I can send it to you. It's on my team page. But basically, your thought that you want to anchor you in this space is people are going to tell you exactly how to lead them if you ask the right questions. And that is the literal truth. They are going to tell you exactly what they need, exactly what's most important to them, exactly what their fears are, exactly what is stopping them or the hurdles or the obstacles. If only we shut our mouth and open our ears, drop into curiosity, asking these questions. Okay? You've got to be willing to listen, and that is exactly how it comes to light for you. And then I love taking notes, right? I love a note taking. Okay, you might have one of those steel trap brains. I do not. I have way too many tabs open. Notes it is for me. You do whatever you need to do. Okay, so here is the deal. We've already talked about this. You guys are smart. Listening is going to fuel that vision casting. We've already discussed this, right? When we listen, we drop into curiosity. We know where we can take them. Okay, but when you listen, you're able to cast vision that sticks. You're able to. I remember this one thing that my sponsor said to me one time, and it stuck with me forever, and I've literally used it. And she said, "What are you going to wear when you walk across the stage as an emerald?" And I was like, "Well, thank you for asking. It's a red jumpsuit and it's a pantsuit, and I'm the cutest person I've ever seen in my whole life." And I did wear that. I just want you guys to know I wore that because I held that vision. So if nothing else comes from this call, I want you to go to the people on your team that are runners and say, girl, boy, right? 98% are women, right? But we got to keep it a little bit, keep that language neutral. But like, what are you wearing? Tell me more. What's your hair do? I want to know all about it, right? Because that is something that, especially if that's where you've earned the right, like that person wants to go there, that is a way to drop into that text message on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, girl, I was just thinking about this. What are you going to wear in June when you're holding that gem? What you wearing? I want to know. I want to know right now. I've been thinking about it. I want to know. And so this is the thing is we kind of already said it, but when you know where they want to go, when you've listened, right, you're able to leverage that vision. I say against them. I don't mean it that way, but you're able to hold it up to them, right? To hold up that mirror to them. Okay. Hey, you say you feel kind of capped in your career. Are you open to me showing you how this could work for you? Is that something you're open to? right? Sometimes dropping into curiosity like that with those kind of prospecting questions, they might already be on the products. They may already be feeling good. Maybe they threw up a post. Maybe they did a pink party for you, but there's more. She's kind of complained about XYZ. She's like, oh my God, if I could just get a house cleaner, like, right? And you're like, I mean, like, girl, you kind of mentioned this. Like, I know that we haven't really gone there, but are you free like this Saturday? I'd love to get coffee with you and talk about how this could come together for you. Are you open? Guys, I love Are You Open because you're going to save your time. I love Are You Open because it makes them kind of puts them in that driver's seat and gives them that permission to kind of shut you down if they want to. No, I'm really not. Right. Or maybe Are You Open? And then they kind of come back and they're like, I just feel like I don't have the network. I don't, and all those obstacles. And what you're going to see when that happens is I've got some more belief building to do, right? I'd still hold that call with them. I'd still meet them for coffee, but you need to see what you're seeing. Okay. So when you are listening and you're holding up where they want to go to them, it is not selling them, right? You are satisfying a need in their life. And they might not believe in themselves. And that's where you have to remove some of those emotions from it and just become that person that's going to say, have you thought about what this could be? I'd love to talk to you about how this would work. And guys, but PS sidebar, when you have those conversations and you ask somebody, are they open? And they say yes, and you're like, start to sweat in your armpits. And you're like, I didn't think they were going to say yes. No, I don't know what to say. All you have to do is you just have to say, here's where you are. Here's where you can go. This is where I feel like we can go this month. Once we hit that first goal, I actually believe we can hit that second goal. And I know that we can do it. And here's how I want us to do it, right? It's pink parties. It's add three. It's helping other, wherever. Guys, there's infinity options for this, so it's really impossible for me to lay out what it could look like. If you ever want to talk through any of this stuff, I love strategy the most, is my very favorite thing. Please reach out to me. But here's the thing though too, and I know that you kind of understand this and know this, the vision casting you're doing for your personal network or your Facebook wall or whatever, that's going to be different than how you vision cast for your team, right? And the posting that you're doing, if you follow me, it's very clear that I've shifted into how I can empower women in a financial way, and I really speak that language. But it doesn't matter what you're posting about the most and talking about the most. Send it through the filter of who am I most wanting to inspire right now, and is my content doing that? And that's how you vision cast for those people. Okay. When you're vision casting for like your Facebook wall or your social network or whatever, you're speaking to possibility, you're speaking to identity. I don't know if you're like me, but I don't know if you're sick of feeling, kind of, overwhelmed at the end of the holidays because you made poor choices, whatever it is. You're speaking to lifestyle shifts, right? It's a perfect time to get really intentional about what that looks like. You're speaking to what could be. Hey, what would it look like if you didn't get so exhausted at 2 and 3 o'clock? What would your day look like? How productive would you be if you weren't operating around and reconciling this fatigue? That's like a bare bones example, but how many of us had those, crashes, right? How many of us had those crashes? So, um, you know, vision for your team, right? Speaking to belief, we've really been focusing the whole call kind of around that, but I don't want to miss how you're showing up in your audience, because you are going to be vision casting in every sense of the word. So you're speaking to leadership, long-term growth, consistency. Um, you know, think about this. There was somebody that breathed belief into you. It might be your sponsor, it might be somebody else. There was somebody who was like, you can do this. Like, hello. And all of a sudden, you were probably like, Me? I mean, I vividly remember this. I don't know if you know who Suzanne Clinton is, but somehow I got on the phone with her and then I kind of Googled her and I was like, why does this person, right? So care about me. So like my point is that you're going to be that to somebody. I want you to know that your voice is so special and important and you think, "Oh, I'm only this rank or this is all I've achieved." Regular people don't know anything about what we know. Regular people don't know anything about, guys, you could be like, I'm a 62 silver, I'm a 25 star gold. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know, okay? You show up sometimes, and this is totally not related to this, but I'm just gonna say it. You show up like affected by what you see in your virtual office and it literally changes the way that you interact with other people and drive and inspire and do all these things and you get dim and quiet when you feel that you are not good enough based on what you see in that virtual office. But guess what? No one outside of you is even looking at that and has any freaking idea. And so you are basically sending your ability to empower, you're basically outsourcing it to this computer program? No, we're not doing that. It's 2026. We're not doing that. We're stepping into the world and we're inspiring in a way that's special and different. And you are not going to use the number in your virtual office to kind of basically just give you permission on how you show up. We're not doing that anymore. Can you give me a thumb if we're not doing that? We're not doing that. Because we can't change or get better or grow that number in our virtual office if we are relegating ourselves based on that number. Feel me? Okay, I thought so. Awesome. Okay, last part is our identity-based vision, which is so very important. Vision is not just about what you'll have, it is about who you become. And I would hear when I started this, it's like, fall in love with the person you're becoming. Like my brain was too practical. I was like, but how many points does she have? How many orders does she need? Like I just, it was like, right? It was like I couldn't get there. And I just want to invite you to like just you can't not pay attention to those things because then sometimes we fall into la la land and we're just floating and glitters and rainbows and unicorn wings and all those things. We have to live in reality. But what I want to tell you is that who you become in this process, and this is the exact way to do it. You want to know the exact way to do it? I want you to think about that version of you that you're got in your mind. Because I know the first person you vision casted with was yourself. Right? Somebody may have done it for you or with you or whatever, but that vision that you hold is the most important vision. So what does she look like? I don't know. Is she a rank? Does she have a certain size house? Does she have this many kids? Is she going to yoga every day? I don't know what she's doing, but you do. And I want you to ask yourself every single time that you feel hesitation or you feel a pullback or you feel anything, is that version, right? Sometimes we use a rank, sometimes we use a whatever income, sometimes, right? Is that version of you, what is she thinking about? Would she hesitate to have this conversation? Would she hold back? Would she be worried about what other people think? Would she be validated in her position? And would she cast vision in a way that was so powerful that it does not matter what other people think or that her neighbor down the street doesn't really understand because she was never going to understand? It doesn't, right? You have to send it through the filter. So it is very, very important that you adopt a new identity as you vision cast for yourself. It is very, very important. You have to live in that new version of yourself. You have to be it. If you don't believe it, it will not happen. That is how seriously important your thoughts are. Okay. A way to walk people into this path is what would it take? You're going to have people on your team that are wavering in their abilities. They're going to stop posting. They're going to do things that are out of alignment with the things that they say that they want. And this is what you're going to get to do as a leader. You're going to say, what do you feel like a leader? And you're going to shut your mouth and you're going to listen to what they say, right? And then they're probably going to say, not really. And what you're going to say is, okay, how would you show up if you were a leader? What would that look like? And then they're going to answer. And then you're going to say, I want you to do that tomorrow and tell me how it feels. Can you promise me that you'll do it tomorrow? And then at the end of the day, I want you to tell me what you did at the end of the day. And then the next day, you're going to go to them and you're going to say, okay, I want you to do it one more time. Right? I want you to show up like that. And maybe you're having them define what a leader is. Okay, tell me what a leader looks like. Hey, that emerald version of you, what's she doing every day? Tell me about that. That star diamond version of you, tell me how she's running her day. Tell me how she's handling objections. What's going through her mind when she sees somebody that is kind of not in alignment with the things that they say? Because here's the deal. The future version of you, that vision that you hold, it's not just like totally real, but it is becoming your responsibility to show up as her, because that's what's ahead for you. That is what it was ordained for you. It would not be in your heart and your mind if it wasn't ahead for you. You would not be dreaming about something that is possible, or that vision for yourself. It would not be even in your mind if you were not qualified for it. But the problem is that we don't feel like we're qualified. We need all these external things, right? But if I was qualified, I'd have this many new VIPs. It's no. Nope. 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 We're setting that down. Okay? People do not move for information. They move for identity. When you adopt the new identity, the other stuff happens. When you live and sit and operate out of this beautiful space, this future version of yourself, this polished version of yourself, this woman that handles stress so differently, right? Because when we have this vision, isn't she just together? Whoever she is, she's like so together. Like she's not losing her mind, right? Okay, because I kind of lost my mind a little bit today. And I'm like, the Star Diamond version of me isn't doing that. Let's get back on track. Okay, so if I'm doing it, you're doing it, we're all doing it, your leaders on your team are doing it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little homework. We're at the very end. Thank you for spending time with me. We're going to do a little bit of homework, okay? So I want you in the next 48 hours, I want you to message me this, okay? I want you to have one intentional conversation where you ask questions and listen. And here's the deal. I'm not the type of person that wants to hear how it was flawless and perfect and it was super great, because it's not going to be, especially if this is the first time you've ever done it. You're going to come to me and be like, I kind of talked too much, or I kind of did this, or I kind of did that. That is okay. Practice is going to make perfect. You're not going to be able to do this well until you suck at it several times. Okay? I promise you, I still mess it up. I think I'm great at it. I still screw it up because I get excited and I'm emotionally invested and this is my best friend. And then, okay. And then I'm like, okay, you didn't do it. You screwed it up. Okay, Sadie, like, let's try again. So I want you to have, within the next 48 hours, I want you to have one intentional conversation and you're asking those questions. Okay? You're listening. Right? And maybe it's somebody who comes to you with a problem. Maybe it's somebody that you want to cast vision with that has not yet started this business. Or maybe you're watching somebody on your team that is not stepping into the light the way that they want to. They're not showing up the way that would be in alignment with what they say they want out of this. And as their leader, you build trust to say the hard thing by listening first. Okay, but we have to practice doing it. So after you're listening, you get to reflect back what you heard. And then you cast that vision based on their words, right? But you can't do that unless you are listening. And I know that some of us think that we're good listeners because we think we're good at everything. But I can promise you that when you put energy into this and you give space to the version of you who's getting better at this and getting yourself teed up over and over and over again to have these conversations, you not only become a better leader in Plexus, you become a better wife, a better friend, a better sister. You become better. You become just a new version of yourself that doesn't always have to prove they have the answers. Because a lot of times, right, we're good. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I'm gonna look how good I am. Look how good it. This is where we have to remove that need to prove that we're good at this. You wouldn't be on this call if you weren't good at this. Seriously, you would not be on this call if you were not good at this. Good at Plexus, good at leading, good at all those things. Now we have to deepen those skills and we have to show the rubber's going to hit the road. If we want to be next level, we have to show up as next level connection. Okay. So I love this. I love you guys. Thank you for coming. I'm going to have the recording available. Please do your homework. Please send it to me. And I cannot wait to connect with each of you privately. You guys are the best. And I'm so blessed to be here tonight with you guys. All right. Have a good night.